Are we ready and back?
Yep.
He's okay? All right, sounds good. All right, it's Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 p.m., and I'd like to call the regular Board of Trustees meeting to order. And we have a short invocation. Father, we ask for wisdom, guidance, and discernment in the decisions we make that affect our village and its residents. We also ask you to watch over our police, our military, and all who serve. Roll call, please.
Trustee Keller.
Here.
Trustee McGurran. Here. Trustee Nelson, absent. Trustee Pike.
Here.
Trustee Porter.
Here.
And President Wecken.
Here. Item 2, review and approve minutes from the regular board meeting of February 3rd, 2026.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, John. Any discussion, additions, or corrections to the minutes as presented?
Not me.
Hearing none. All in favor of the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 3, comments from the floor limited to 3 minutes per speaker. This is an opportunity for Village of North Hudson residents, property owners, business owners to make the board aware of new topics, issues, and opportunities not on today's agenda for consideration for future meetings. Is there anyone here that has anything to address other than what's on the agenda?
Yep. Go to the.
Name and address?
My name is Matt Cossey. My address is 1031 Monroe Street. I've been a resident of North Hudson for 21 years. Raised my family here. Kids attended elementary school, plan on living here for a long time to come. Want to thank the trustees for all of their time, service over the years. Certainly appreciate your willingness to serve our community. Second, wanted to comment to the entire board about the proposed Monroe Street reconstruction project. The information present and available to the general public, including the proposed plan of improvement, show the detailed plans and reconstruction of Monroe Street, the addition of curbs to both sides of the street and a sidewalk on the south side of Monroe Street. At multiple prior Public Works meetings, the village engineer, Public Works director spoke to the need to have the sidewalk on the south side of the street, indicating that while meeting with the chief of police, it was, quote, eye-opening, the need to have the sidewalk on the south side of the street to accommodate parent drop-off and pickup at the elementary school. Both individuals indicated that the right-of-way was vastly more forgiving to have the sidewalk on the south side of the street. They indicated that the removal of trees was greatly minimized, grading issues were reduced, and the purchase of additional right-of-way from the residents of the south side would be minimal. They also indicated having the sidewalk on the south side of Monroe would eliminate another, quote, goofy intersection, as the road would have to shift heavily to the south at the intersection of Lemon and Monroe if the sidewalk were not on the south side. Both individuals spoke on the topic at length at both the September 16th and January 20th meeting. I urge you all to review their comments at those meetings. So my reason for comment today is that I'm in support of the proposed plan that is available to the general public that details the plans for reconstruction of Monroe Street, the addition of curbing to the north and south side, and sidewalk to the south side of Monroe Street only. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, hearing none, I guess we'll move on to item 4. New business from the board or staff and the president's comments. As anybody that watches the news is well aware that we spring ahead on Sunday to daylight savings time. We also have the hope that everybody has a safe and St. Patty's Day. I mean, it's fun to have fun, but, please pay attention. And also, spring starts this month on the 20th. Gina.
All right. So we've got another election coming up. Feels like we just got out of the last one, but another one. And that is our spring election. That is on April 7th. Again, we'll be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The River Channel last week did a candidate forum, so we have 3 open seats on the Board of Trustees for this particular election, and all 4 candidates were at the forum and talked a little bit about why they want to be a part of the board, and so I encourage you to watch that. Everyone did a really great job. Again, that's on the River Channel. You can watch it on YouTube or any of their other options. February 26th was the date that was posted. So absentee ballots for The April 7th election will be sent out on March 17th for those that have already requested a ballot. The start of in-person absentee voting doesn't start until March 24th. That runs until April 3rd. Again, we're going to have those same limited hours between 9 and 2 for that absentee voting so that we can continue to work on this other stuff while that period is open. If you're curious what's on the ballot, you'll probably know what I'm going to say next. Wisvote.wi.gov, fantastic resource. It will tell you what is on the ballot. I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. There's the Justice of Supreme Court, the Circuit Court Judge, a County Supervisor for District 4, Village Trustee, as I just mentioned, and the Hudson School Board. Those are the things that will be on this ballot, but if you want to see exactly who, that is on wisvote.wi.gov. Community garden update. So we talked last time about the community garden. We did send out today, for anyone that had participated in the garden last year, we sent out an email seeing if they wanted to re-register, giving them a first chance at their slots from last year, because some of them put a lot of time and energy into making those garden plots what they were, so we wanted to give them an opportunity. We will have plenty, and we are happy to make more. So once we hear back from those that participated last year and reserved those, we'll be sending out an email to the general public. Again, that's at Woodcrest. The guys did a fantastic job. There's water supplied. So we're excited to have year 2 of our community garden. One other thing that we're going to, that will be new this year, is that we are going to host a community shred event. So as I had mentioned in our last meeting, we've been going through a lot of our records, doing retention, making sure we know where the records are that we need to keep, and not keeping the records we don't need to keep. And so as a result of that, we're creating a lot of documentations that need to be shredded. And so we had reached out to Shred It to see what it would cost to get additional service for our shredding, and looking at some things, decided that it would actually be it wouldn't be much more cost to offer it out to the community. So we just received word back from them that we're going to be doing it in May. I think it's Saturday, May 9th off the top of my head. And so watch for more information on that, but you can bring all your documents that you need to have shredded and shred them for free here at the Village Hall. So that's a new offering this year. Did want to also, had a conversation earlier today and wanted to bring forward that we had put together or put out a post about the North Hudson Neighborhood Watch Organization last month, did a certification program for CPR AED, and just wanted to read this. A recognition and thank you goes out to the North Hudson Neighborhood Watch Organization. They organized and paid for the certification or recertification for 16 people in the Heart Saver CPR AED program. The class consisted of Hudson and North Hudson residents, and 4 of our North Hudson police officers were able to be recertified for free thanks to the North Hudson Neighborhood Watch Organization. So thank you to them, Deanna and Diane. They do a great job, so that was a great service they offered. 2 more quick things. Vision Triangle letters are in the process of going out. So the Public Works Department and the Police Department, we want to get these out and just make people aware of what the Vision Triangle is. So anyone who has a property near an intersection, think of the triangle as the intersection kind of comes together, and it's the visibility between one street and the other. We have ordinances around that, again, for vision clearance, and it's a safety issue. It's a public works issue. So we went around and identified people that may be in those properties, and we just really ask that you read through the letter, understand the ordinances and your responsibility for any homes that are on those vision triangles to keep everything so that people driving can see. Obviously, big safety thing for the community. So we appreciate everyone's help who will be receiving a Vision Triangle letter. The last thing I have is we only had 2 builders permits in January. Again, we're always a month off, and they were both HVAC related. So not surprised by that. That's it.
Thank you. Item 5 is reschedule April Village Board and Finance meetings to March 31st, 2026 due to the spring election. Is there a motion?
Dan, I move to move both the regular Board of Trustees meeting and the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting from the scheduled date of Tuesday, April 7, 2026 to Tuesday, March 31st, 2026.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. Any discussion, comments, questions? It seems to fall just about every April. We have to move ours up, so with no other comments, all in favor of the moving the date to the 31st, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item 6, review motion to approve the appointment of Dustin Handovit to fill the Board of Park Commissioners vacancy. Approval requested.
I move to approve the appointment of Dustin Handovit to fill the Board of Park Commissioners vacancy.
Thank you, Mary. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, John. Comments or questions?
Can you tell us a little bit about the candidate, President Wecken?
Yeah, well, I was, Michelle Ortner, who's was on the board for over 20 years, and also Mona. They both had suggested him as he's got children and they live down around the Cherry Circle area, and they frequent the parks down there. He's I don't know if they call them phy ed teachers or gym teachers or what they're called now, but he's involved with the kids and stuff involved in that. So, and he sounded pretty excited to be, and would like to do that. So, I couldn't find anything wrong with him. I've even talked to neighbors. I could even talk to neighbors that that weren't part of the group and stuff like that, and they said, yeah, he's a really good guy. So that's what I'm going on. Anything else?
No.
Okay, hearing no more questions. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 7, North Hudson Elementary School Fun Run traffic restrictions. Approval requested.
Stan, I move to authorize traffic restrictions on Webster Street North from Lemon Street North to Helen Street North, and Helen Street North from Webster Street North to Monroe Street North, and Monroe Street North from Helen Street North to Lemon Street North, for the North Hudson Elementary School Fun Run on May 1, 2026, from 3 to 3:45 p.m., with an alternate rain date of Friday, May 8th, 2026.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
I'll second what Brian just said.
I didn't go too fast, did I?
Thanks, Dusty. Comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor of the traffic restrictions for the fun run, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item 8, fireworks paraphernalia license application. Approval requested for A. Carolyn Whaley, DBA as Exit 1 Fireworks.
Stan, I move to approve the application for fireworks paraphernalia license -- temporary use permit for Carolyn Whaley with the following inclusions: no smoking signs must be displayed, fire extinguishers available, no fireworks sold to persons under 18 years of age, operation not to exceed 180 days per calendar year.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, John. Any discussion? Questions? Comments? Hearing none. All in favor of Exit 1 fireworks approval, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And B is Anders Nelson, doing business as Fireworks Nation. Is there a motion?
Stan, I move to approve the application for fireworks paraphernalia license -- temporary use permit for Anders Nelson, DBA Fireworks Nation, with the following inclusions: no smoking signs must be displayed, fire extinguishers available, no fireworks sold to persons under 18 years of age, operation not to exceed 180 days per calendar year.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Dusty. Comments or questions on the Fireworks Nation? Hearing none.
I just want to
Everyone-
comment, I know in the past, we've had a question because the hours of operation haven't been included with the application, and when the applicant's been here, he's identified that it typically would not exceed the 9, 10 PM time zone, except for potentially around the 4th of July holiday. Is that others' recollection? I don't know if we need to put any parameters around that, since it's not in the application? What do you
Paul?
suggest?
Well, I
I
think
don't-
it's up to the board. I mean, I think people are gonna be open when they're doing business, and they're not gonna be open if no one's around. So I think practically,
Yeah.
you know,
I think what we've kind of said in the past is if they didn't request specific hours, then they use the hours in the ordinances. And that's what we would hold them to.
Thank you, that sounds good.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of Fireworks Nation, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 9, Plan Commission Chair Update,
did not meet.
did not meet. Okay, and, but item B is petition by Railroad Properties of Hudson LLC, Bruce Lenzen, for rezoning of PIN 161-10-20-003 in the Village of North Hudson from industrial commercial to RM1, low-density multi-family residence. Discussion, possible approval.
Stan, move to approve ordinance 04-2026 for the petition by Railroad Properties of Hudson LLC, Bruce Lenzen, for rezoning of PIN 161-1070-20-003 in the Village of North Hudson from industrial commercial to low-density multiple family residence per recommendation from the Plan Commission.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, John. Discussion.
Question? I
Mary?
wonder if, what our attorney would say regarding the need to have closed session discussion about this item due to potential litigation?
Well, I guess, you know, it's not on the agenda, and that would be up to the board if they want to put it off again. I don't know, it's possible to do that, but again, that's gonna be a board decision whether they want to have that discussion.
I make a motion to amend move the motion to move this to closed session the next meeting if we can't do it today.
What part do you want to, why do you want to move it into closed session?
Because there's potential for litigation, and we have some potential vulnerabilities and risks as a village that I think we should discuss.
I believe we've been discussing those possibilities, and there has been no litigations. There's been threats of litigations in emails and/or whatever, but there has not been any litigation right now. So I mean, right now, it's I would like to go to a vote. I mean, we've been kicking that can down the road for weeks, months, years. And it's time to, hey, if we're, we've done what we're supposed to do, and if they want to pursue that, I believe we're okay. I mean, we'll answer their request.
Paul, can I suggest that we pause to see if that motion would get a second? Because I don't think we should discuss it unless that motion got a second. Is anyone willing to second that subsequent motion? Okay.
And no second, so the motion dies for a lack of a second. Is there a motion for the property to be rezoned?
It was already moved and seconded.
Yep.
Okay, so, that being said, any further discussion?
Yes, I have a question that the petition to the village identifies the property in a manner that's inconsistent with the village's zoning. And I'm wondering if that makes it a valid petition. Again, it's a question for our attorney.
Well, I think the current zoning is still up in the air. I know the map, and I've talked about the map, and we've also looked at the record, and there's still some ambiguity, I think, as to what that's actually zoned. So does that invalidate the petition? I don't think so. I think this board needs to look at that piece of property as a standalone piece of property and make a decision, one way or the other, if they think it's in the best interest of the residents of North Hudson, and if that can be utilized in conformity with, the Riverway Act, with the understanding that any type of development there will take, multiple variances probably. I don't know what the intention is in terms of the actual structures or whatever, but, all that being said, any development will have to be compliant with the Riverway Act and the ordinances of North Hudson. And if you board members think that, it's in the best interest of the residents for the future of the village to move down this road further, it doesn't mean that anything will ever be built there. But, that's a board decision, it's a policy decision, and I guess I would invite members, just for the record, in case there's litigation, that we have the rationale that they considered when they're making this decision to put on the record.
Gina, can we pull up the map again?
And I will just note too, the petition is based off of the wording in the application. That's how all these petitions are done. That's just how the application was worded, so that's why it's listed like that. We don't change the wording of the application, so.
I'm not talking about that map. I want to see the map of what we are zoning. The properties. Because I feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding of what we're voting on.
I have it here for you.
No, I know.
Velcro.
That one. Oh, she got a big one. I see.
While Gina's doing that, Paul, there's a question if people in the audience can ask questions while we're having this discussion.
It's not a public hearing.
No.
Momentarily, yes, I'm plugged into the.
Sorry, Stan, I'm prolonging us a little bit, but
But no, it's time to get this taken care of.
thanks, Mikos.
There we go.
Into the wall. So let's shift over to the other side. We plugged into the wall. There. Yep, there we go. Yeah, no problem.
This map, Dusty?
Yep. So to my recollection, what we're rezoning is this, right? That's what Bruce purchased,
Correct.
owned by Bruce. So right here, the sliver that's on the middle, right, who owns this?
The county.
County owns that. And that's on the middle. What's right here? Who owns this right here?
The, sorry, the city,
Yeah,
the village. I
Yep.
feel like I'm at home listening to that. The city, the village, the town, and the county.
okay, who owns this one?
That one is strictly the city.
Okay, who owns that?
That one is the county and the city.
Wasn't this all stuff that was proposed park?
Uh-huh.
That was brought to us at one point.
Yep.
They wanted to have a little pavilion here, and they wanted to have a little like fishing pier right here for us.
And then
That's all park
observation.
stuff right here.
Yep.
Yeah, and the observation.
Yep.
This has, and that's here, and then this is owned by who?
The city, the county, the town,
Okay.
and the village.
So we still have opportunity, even though that we're zoning this area, which was literally a railroad track at one point. It was not beautiful parks, beautiful trails, or anything else like that, it's just a wasteland that was purchased. The railroad stopped doing it back in '72. Train stopped in '54. But we still have municipalities that own all this where it can still utilize for parks, for the public's best interest on this beautiful part of everything else like this, and then still utilize the rezoning of what we want to do right here. So we still have opportunity for our villagers and for everybody else in the city, the county, everything else like this, to still do a park on what we want to do, what was presented to us at one time, to still have a fishing pier here, pavilion there, and still do what wants to be done right here as well, and then still have this. So this is the reason, like, I was one person that said no right away on everything. I did the research and looked at everything again on what's going on right now. We still have a very good opportunity to do a lot of other things with this piece of property land and still utilize what we have going on right here as well, which is gonna help fund this as well. That's where I'm looking at on everything right now, which is gonna help everything else too. So this is still gonna be a valuable area in the best public interest for us to utilize this beautiful area moving forward. And I'm sure Bruce is gonna be able to allow us to get access to other areas too. But what we're zoning, once again, is right down this middle strip, right there. And he's gotta go through a lot more. But this is what we're zoning. We're not taking away anything right here. So I just wanna get that out there, because there's a lot of misunderstanding. We're getting a lot of emails, I'm seeing the emails. We still have opportunities here that's owned by all the municipalities. And we had opportunity at one point. 4 times the village had an opportunity to purchase this. Other people had an opportunity to purchase this. We didn't do it. Just want to point that out.
The only other
Thanks,
thing
Dusty.
I'll add, Dusty, is, the concern that, well, then we would lose this land
Which land?
along the river. It's already lost, right? We can't get to it today, as it sits today. If we do nothing, if we make no
Yep.
zoning decisions, you can't get to that land unless the landowner allows us to go through.
How many people have walked there? It's rocky. It's steep. I'm
Yeah.
sure that
The
we'd
other
be able
thing
to
I'll
work on
point
it.
out is that even in our very, very small village, we have 2 other parks that you can get to the river on. So we have, in our 2-mile wide village, we have 2 other parks that you can access the river. So even if the landowner decided not to grant any sort of an easement for the public to get to the river across his property, we have 2 other beautiful parks that have that access. What we don't have access to today in a park is the lake. As Dusty mentioned, this decision does not impact our ability to put a park on that lake
Nothing.
if those municipalities decide to go there. I do think that's a good clarification.
It's just been a while since we've seen that map and what we're zoning. And there's still a lot of opportunity.
Well, and there's been a lot of misinformation out there that.
That's correct.
It's just, I mean, it sent people up in arms. It's like, wait a minute, I mean, you're not talking, it's not the whole dang property.
No.
You know, and I know from earlier presentations, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done, and I know the developer is very aware of it and has been developing river property for many years, and that is, it will be, I believe it will be done right.
The other thing to note is this line here, the shaded line, this is the difference between, this is the village-owned, and the darker is city-owned. So again, we've heard, well, the county and others, well, actually, the city voted it down, but the county said, they have a resolution proposing that we don't change. It's not within their jurisdiction. So that, they were very clear when they sent me that letter that even though the county signed a resolution saying they would prefer that we didn't rezone it, it's not their jurisdiction. It is advisory only. That was that resolution, so that is not a stop hold for the board deciding what they want to decide.
So I have several things I want to make sure we get on the record today. One of which is that this property has been zoned in the village as conservancy for 50 years. I understand there's a question that we can't go back 50 years to show that property owners were notified that it was changed to conservancy. I also understand from the county where they stated very clearly that when that happened, it was all when the municipality adopted our initial zoning. So there wouldn't have been a notice to the property owners. So I think that there's very good reason to assert that that property is conservancy, including the fact that it's conservancy on our map. It has been in our comprehensive plan consistently until this year as conservancy. That there are plans, there are also long-term plans and have been for that area to be park. Does this preclude a park? It doesn't preclude a park. Does it change the view of the river from what could be a park? Yes. Does it change the nature of the area? Yes. The other things, as our attorney mentioned, that we need to consider are the fact that it's a flood zone, are the fact that it's National Scenic Waterway. There's also a dam there that needs maintenance, which I believe is why our neighbors, the county, and yes, we don't have to follow their guidance, but why our neighbors, the county, requested that we not change the zoning because of the need for potential future maintenance to the dam. That area is required for access and staging to repair the dam, and I think we need to think about those things responsibly when we're talking about this. There's no path to build along that 100-foot wide plot. There's no path to do it. There's not a history that the village showed we intended to do that. In fact, we intended to maintain it as conservancy. So I think those are things we need to consider when we're looking at the zoning. And yes, we have heard from a lot of community members, more community members than I've ever heard about anything, not just people along that area, people all throughout the community. So I think there's important considerations that we need to make about this open area, and our plans in our village really do support open areas and environmental corridors and all of the things that this is.
Do you realize that the default for the village of North Hudson was always conservancy? Galahad back in the day was conservancy. East Bank was conservancy. Our next area, our next subject that we're talking about, that area was conservancy. Everything was
I do
conservancy at
realize
one
that.
point.
I do realize
So if you're
that.
going back to 50 years of conservancy talk right now, you're gonna have to talk about all the village of North Hudson and how it was conservancy. So you're saying at one point the village of North Hudson should have been always conservancy.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's flawed.
That is
you're
not,
talking about.
no, it's not flawed. Thank you. What I'm saying is the last views that we have, that last open area along the river, which is essentially a wildlife area and a corridor for wildlife, should be maintained. You can disagree. That's absolutely within your right, but don't say I'm flawed or
It
that I
was
don't know
a
what I'm talking
railroad
about.
track, and there's garbage everywhere out there.
Railroad tracks go through scenic parks. Railroad tracks go through lots of places. A railroad track doesn't determine the zoning of the area.
But Paul, regardless of if it is what it is zoned right now, the board has the ability to change it.
Yeah, that's why we're here, and the
Yeah.
board should look at the merits here today.
Yeah, so we could
Not-
argue all day long
not
on what it
50
was
years
or what
ago.
it should be. The board has the opportunity to change it. That's, at the end of the day, that's the board's responsibility. The dam owner has stated that he has no concerns with his ability to stage. He has no concerns with his ability to get access to the dam if and when dam repairs are needed. There's no even report, he said, for another inspection of the dam for another 4 years, because the last time it was inspected, they didn't find any major flaws with it. Will it eventually need to be? Yes, but he felt very comfortable that he would be able to repair the dam with the staging area that he has and the easements that will be provided to him. Every house on Galahad is on the scenic river, every house. A good portion of the houses on the lake have
you-
docks on conservancy.
Are you making an argument for this, Gina?
I'm just
Stating
stating
facts.
facts, because misinformation is just out there, just rampant. And it's causing, I think, people to have concerns that aren't valid, so I'm just trying to clarify.
Which I'm putting on the record that there's a lot of misinformation.
Yeah. Every house on Galahad is on the riverway. There are many of our houses that are on the lake right now that have docks in a conservancy area. Should we send everybody a letter and tell them to remove their docks off of the lake? The environmental corridor goes across almost every house on Malibu, as does the floodplain. So those are just not reasons to say we can't do this. It's okay if you don't want to do it, but everyone has their own opinion. That's a beautiful thing about our country. That's a beautiful thing about this. Everyone can have their own opinion, but I want those opinions to be based on facts, and those arguments do not preclude us from being able to make a decision that's in front of the board today.
The facts are, it's a floodplain. The
It is.
facts,
So are these other houses
so
that are on it.
I want to be clear, I haven't said anything that isn't a fact. If someone believes I've said something that isn't a fact, I'd like to know that, because I don't deal in unfacts, I deal in facts.
We didn't say you. We didn't say you. There is misinformation being spread by email, social media, lots of other forums, and we just want to make sure that everyone is clear as to what those facts are. I'd say you're ready for votes.
Anything else for Gina? Any other discussion from the board? Brian, Paul?
I think, if I remember right, and I might be wrong, all 4 communities own the dam, and we pay Hudson to maintain it.
Correct.
Okay.
Dusty, anything?
No.
Else? You did
I'm good.
Good job. Okay, well, it's time for a vote then, if we haven't got anything else to add. So, Mary?
No?
Dusty?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
You. Records show that the property petition for railroad properties has been approved to go to low-density multifamily residence. And next is the petition by Wisconsin Development LLC, R. Tom, Toy, and Adres Sabini. I hope I said those names right. And rezone 856th Street North, Hudson, 54016 from C3 Industrial Commercial, RM3 High Density Multiple Family Residence. Discussion, possible approval.
Stan, I move to deny the rezoning request from applicant Wisconsin Development LLC to rezone 856th Street North, Hudson, Wisconsin, 54016 from C3 Industrial Commercial to RM3 High Density Multiple Family Residence based on the recommendation from the Plan Commission.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dusty. Discussion.
Can we have some discussion about what that means as far as the R3 regarding the height and the number of units that would be allowed to be built on that property? It's my understanding that it would be 45 feet tall and that we could have 28 units. Does that sound correct?
That's my understanding as well, Mary. And the 28 units came from the math of the 4,000 square foot requirements for that RM3 zoning and the 600-foot minimum square foot floor plan. It only comes out to 28 units, not the 48 that's being proposed.
Yeah, and I think there's a little wiggle room in RM3 that the height restriction is a little bit different too, so.
Yep.
It's-
RM3 and RM2 actually height, building height are the same. Those are both 45 feet. RM1 is 35.
Okay.
So we received a traffic study from the developers or their engineer regarding this property that estimated that there would be, in the morning, 5 vehicles entering and 15 exiting, and in the evening, 16 entering and 9 exiting, which would be an average of 1 vehicle per 5 minutes. Do we know if that's like what that's based on? I couldn't tell from reading it if that was observation or estimation based on data from the state.
I asked Kevin about that, our engineer, today, and he said he looked at the name of the firm and he says they're reputable. They do this all the time.
Just looking at that area, like, regardless of what that area is zoned, it appears to have inadequate infrastructure for whatever it will be. There's no curb, there's no gutter. I walk there all the time. It's very dangerous. Cars can't see you. There's no sidewalk. It's not a safe area. Like, no matter what we're going to zone this, it seems like we need to look at that area to improve the safety. And a lot of the comments that we received, and there was a lot of comments about this property, not as many as the previous one we talked about, but a lot. And a lot of them revolved around safety and traffic. So what are our options to address that infrastructure issue, regardless of whether there's a zoning change or not? And it seems like it needs to be discussed related to the zoning change because of the concerns from the community about it.
I'm not opposed to having some, residential housing in there. But the planning commission said no. And I would like to know, what their reasoning was, and I think they should go back to the plan and ask the planning commission, why no? And what do we need to do what can we do? Planning commission should take care of that.
Paul, do you know why they said no?
Well, I guess, first, the infrastructure. The infrastructure around that parcel could be improved as part of developing the parcel with sidewalks, curb and gutter, street improvements and all that. That's typically done. I think Plan Commission was initially caught off guard with the proposal because there was thought this was going to be senior living or memory care type project, and not the size. And I think the size of the project was the biggest concern for Plan Commission. If I remember right, it's been a couple months. But, that even if you rezone, they're asking for way more than what's allowed under code, and I don't think Plan Commission was comfortable with that.
So are we approving the building in 48 units? Or are we approving the zoning to RM3?
You are only approving the rezone. In order to build what they've proposed, they'd have to come back for variances for building height, for density, for maybe something else. I don't know, but this just,
Parking,
yeah, perhaps parking. I think they were real close on the number for parking. But this is just the rezone. This does not say you can go and build this building. This says you have the opportunity to explore residential on this land. And if they come back with something that meets code, that meets building height, that meets density, then yeah, they can do it. They get their building permit and you have at it.
So at what point does the infrastructure stuff come into play? When
It's gonna be part of a site plan approval process that they'd have to go through.
So it's not part of the zoning, and is it part of if the village needs to do it no matter what's there, at what point do we start to do that, or where do we start to do that? Is that a plan commission initiation or a board initiation?
That's probably a public works decision to start with. There's right of way out there that the village could put in curbs and sidewalks. I think as part of this development, there was some plan to extend the trail and, do some of those improvements.
On Public Works, we typically look to who's ever building to do the kind of infrastructure fixes that you're talking about. Like on the Zappa 40, when that gets developed, we'd be expecting sidewalks, curbs, all of that.
Yeah, that would go developer cost, not taxpayer cost.
So we wouldn't do that in preparation of whatever is going to be there. We would wait until there was a development
You would
proposed,
typically
and that would
wait.
go through that. Okay. So, because I think it's really important, because there were so many concerns that people had about the traffic and the safety because of the traffic there, that it's critical. And I don't know that people would feel any better if it was a commercial property that was bringing in that traffic. It seems like it's the same issue that needs to be resolved. And I will say the comments I got about this property were mostly related to property owners in that area, as opposed to not the whole village. Like, the whole village doesn't seem concerned about this. It's related to people that are really dealing with that four-way there.
Mary, I think you're spot on, and I think I'd add that in some ways, if nothing gets developed there, the problem isn't certainly gonna get any better, but it's also not gonna be addressed, at least in our 5-year CIP plan. That intersection is not on
It's not on our.
on the village CIP plan,
Our
so I think you
capital
bring up an
improvement
interesting point that should we move forward on a development, whether it's a commercial development or a residential development within the ordinances, it gives an opportunity for that infrastructure and that intersection to be looked at sooner than it probably would be if it was up to the village's CIP plan. It's an interesting,
I think the
Take.
next thing up on our capital improvement plan, the CIP plan, is Galahad. And after that, we have these retaining walls that apparently got salted by our older salt trucks that are starting to crumble on us. Down by, what street is that?
Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside Drive. So, and that one is millions if we have to repair that one.
In the way of ensuring that there's accurate information, the proposal that was brought, which again, we're not approving, was not for subsidized housing. It was for multi-units, but not subsidized housing. Not that subsidized housing couldn't be brought if we approve it for residential. That can happen. Good luck to anyone who tries to get that, because it's not very easy to come by, but that isn't what this was about, or is about.
Anybody else?
So if we approve this, the plan itself still has to go back through Plan Commission, is what you're saying,
Yeah,
Paul?
there's other steps if they want to build what they've proposed. And I think the Plan Commission also, there's only so many vacant spots left in the village. And they struggled, should we give up our last commercial spot? Or should we, we also need housing, and they struggled with that, I think. My interpretation.
So you're saying they wanted to retain the commercial option?
I don't think they came to a decision either way, really.
Because when they approved the comp plan, future use for that area, they gave it 3 options, which doesn't really give us a lot of direction, but it was residential, commercial, and conservancy, all.
Which, yeah, in our comp plan too, with our economic develop goals, we need to maximize and optimize the use of our limited commercial land. So we may need to hold on to it.
Although we haven't had a commercial proposal there for
I know,
ever.
but I'm saying that's our last commercial.
Yeah, and I don't think we should just, at least in my thinking, we should just give up on that right now. Giving up on saving that for some type of commercial.
Yeah, I know.
Down the road. And I think that's important. And I personally also think that to approve this rezoning, to me, it puts it's just too high a density housing for what I believe fits within our community in that location particularly. I mean, it's 2.5 acres, and it's a ton of studio apartments, and I've not been able, I don't have any, from what I understand, that's not a big gainer when it comes to contributions to property taxes. So I think we should look at, I don't think that we should approve the rezoning. I would like to understand, this is my first term on the board, maybe my last, but I don't know what the board's done to really investigate, or promote, what could that be for North Hudson? I always had an idea of a little startup facility that medical companies could do incubation in. You know, we're so close to the Twin Cities, those things. But 2.5 acres is still small.
I had requests from residents for us to ask them to consider putting 55-plus housing in that place. I know not as big as what they're talking about, but we have seniors that are giving their house to their kids and would like to stay nearby, that kind of stuff.
But
That's housing, I mean, as a resident, and what I've read in the comp plan, housing fits the comp plan as well. So it's not like it wouldn't be a fit. And as a resident, I would much rather see housing there than industrial.
And that's why we're trying to bring it back to you guys, the plan commission, and kind of go off of, you know, look at the square footage and everything else like that, kind of go off of our codes, look at our codes and see what's gonna fit in that square footage and what you can do for the amount of units that can go in there, more than likely.
It's some of the first things they see when they come in from the north side too, Paul. You might mention that to the plan commission. We want it to look nice.
Right.
Yeah, certainly you want it to look nice. And, you know, when this first started, the plan commission basically, you know, sent it back to the developer saying, you know, we're gonna consider residential there, but what's your plan? And then, because the application had multifamily, it also had senior living as some options. So that's when this large building popped up.
So-
And the concerns that we're all expressing here.
So are we supposed to wait till they come with a design that we like before it's rezoned, or do we rezone it and then get a design that we like?
Well, typically they go hand in hand. It's a whole lot easier to get it rezoned
Okay.
if you come with a design that the village promotes.
Anybody else? Hearing none, the motion is to deny the rezone from commercial industrial to RM3. Is that correct?
Yep.
And we'll start with Brian.
No, I mean, yes.
Yes.
You mean yes to no?
Yes to no.
I was confused when I read it.
Sorry.
Can I answer this? John?
Yes.
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 Okay, the motion to go to C, or from C3 to high density RM3 is been denied. Item 10, Personnel Finance Committee recommendations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you. Stan, I move to approve the March 2026 non-recurring claims of $115,978.23.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you, Dusty.
anything out of the ordinary?
The largest expenses that we had this past month, the first one is of $69,000 to the city of Hudson for delinquent utilities. Don't read that wrong, that's not our delinquent utilities. When taxpayers are delinquent on their utility, it goes on their tax bill. And when that tax bill comes into the village, then we pull aside the utilities that have been caught up and provide those to this city for water and sewer. So $69,000 worth of delinquent utilities was paid out. We had 2 different insurance renewals, one for our property insurance and one for comp plan policy, both about $7,000. And then the last one was $12,000 paid to St. Croix County for the comp plan facilitation. This was approved as a part of the 2025 budget. Obviously, the comp plan did not get approved until January of 2026, so rightfully so, we just got the invoice, that's the word I was looking for, and so we're looking to pay it with this
So
claims.
On that 69,000 delinquent, does that, you said we don't pay that? So does it go to the county and the county puts it on their taxes, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the county, it comes to us, and we have it placed on the taxes with the county. And
Okay.
then when they make their payment, we pay what we owe to the school, what we owe to the county, and then we pay what we owe to the city for those delinquent.
I guess I'm wondering, is this like a lot of people in the 69,000, or could we have like a business that is way behind, or?
I will say that we had a lot of people, more than normal, that did not pay their taxes on time.
Okay.
I think it's just symptomatic of what's going on in
The world today.
the world today.
All right. Thank you. That's all I got.
All right, anybody else got anything with claims? Hearing none, Mary?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And item B is investment options. We have, well, I'll let Gina summarize so I don't screw this up.
Do you want to open the motion and?
Stan and I make a motion seeking approval to reinvest the roughly $151,000 that is currently invested in a CD whose term is set to end on March 30th, 2026 with Ellers.
Second.
Thank you, Dusty.
So,
And-
yeah, we had our Ellers representative come into the finance meeting right before this. We have, in the village, we have multiple CD investments, and they are laddered throughout 2026 right now through 2029. We met, Nathan, myself, meet quarterly with our Ellers representatives, and it was brought to our attention that one of our CDs is expiring at the end of March, and asked what we wanted to do with that money. So Nathan and I went back and looked at what we had approved for 2026 spend out of the unassigned funds, what we have for liquid cash, what we have in our water sewer funds, everything. And based on our current position, it is Nathan and my recommendation that we reinvest that roughly $150,000 into a new CD. We strengthen our 2029 position and establish a 2030 position. Again, we'll have about another $150,000 coming due next year at this time. So we'll have opportunities over the next 5-6 years to make these decisions as the need arises. But at this point, we have funded everything that was requested as part of 2026 budget, so it is our position that we reinvest those funds.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that?
Did Ellers have a presentation of some sort, or?
He had a handout, and after the meeting, I asked if he would email it to me so I can distribute it.
Oh, thank you.
And that for you too.
All right, any other comments or discussion?
Do you need a second, Mary, or?
Hearing none. Well, I suppose we should probably do a roll call on that. Brian?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 You want to keep it? Okay.
She'll send it.
All right. Next item is Public Works Committee Chair update. Brian?
Stan, we did meet. We had a rousing group of people in here for that meeting on, it was the preview of what's coming in 2027 or 2028, depending on what all goes down on that street, Monroe. A lot of discussion, a lot of questions, a presentation by our engineer showing what we were doing, whether to put the sidewalk on the north or south side. I kind of screwed up at the end of my meeting and jumped the gun and said, okay, we're going to push this forward. And we voted to put it on the north side. And I thought we'd be voting on it today, but I forgot that Kevin said we have this 30-day period for the neighborhood to make public comments. So Gina pointed it out to me the next morning. I said, oh, please write the residents, let the residents know they have the full to the 24th of this month to make comments about what they would like to see. And so that will come up in our next board meeting, which is 31st, as we already stated earlier, of March. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. And item 12, Public Safety Committee, Dusty.
Stan, we did not meet, but we'll be meeting next Thursday.
Alrighty, thank you. And Public Welfare Chair is not here, and I don't think they met.
Did not meet.
Huh?
Did not meet.
Did not meet. And Park Board Committee, Mary?
And Park Board met. I want to thank Gina, our administrator, and Nathan from Finance, who opened up some spots on our village website, so northhudsonwi.gov. If you go to the community page, you can put in suggestions for the parks, and those will go to the Park Board. And there's also another path to suggestions, but don't ask me what it is. But anyway, there's at least two paths to get to. Pardon?
How do I?
How do I? Thank you. There's two paths to get feedback to Park Board, and that is going to be really important because there's lots of things going on, and also we did make a decision at the last meeting to proceed with looking at proposals from Gerber Products, landscape structures, for the Chief Jansen Park. So last year, you may recall, the board invested about $137,000 in the parks, and then there was additional funds that's going to come out of capital, I believe, another $50,000, to give us a nice, healthy purchase of some property to refresh Chief Jansen. And so Gerber Products had multiple proposals or different views of what they could do for that park. And we'll be posting that. They're going to send us their slideshow, and that we'll be posting that so that the community can take a look and use that feedback form to give us feedback, or contact your neighborhood park board commissioner and let them know what you're thinking. We'll be talking about it again at the March meeting, so we really look forward to your feedback on that.
Thank you, Mary. And I guess with nothing else other than item 15, we are adjourned at 7:01.